And also, again, pull up on time to radio. Let's welcome you once more again with another one. We've got another one in the building. I'm not sure what to say, but we've got a very bubbly soul. Jesus Christ, I can't wait to show you. But today, or rather, right now, we are in conversations with Antoinette Bruce-Aleander, who's a mom to an autistic child that is with Daniel. She's the co-founder of Autism Siethembe, an early intervention center of children with autism, and she's also a regional developmental office for Eastern Cape and Autism South Africa. She's literally she's giving. But let me just let her speak for herself and introduce herself. And greet to my listeners, please.
Hello, listeners. How are you doing?
But just introduce yourself just a little bit.
Thank you for the invitation to be here.
All right, all right.
Really.
All right. No. It's only a pleasure. It's only a pleasure.
This is Autism Awareness Month and Acceptance Month. So I'm very blessed to be here, to be invited to be here.
Yeah.
I am Antoinette, and I don't want to say the whole long surname.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes. Antoinette, I am the mom of two brilliant children.
Amazing.
The one is my daughter. She's 2 years older than my son, and then the son.
Daniel.
Yes.
Daniel, the famous Daniel.
And when Daniel was 4 years old, he was diagnosed with autism, and that put us as a family and myself as Antoinette on a path of autism.
Perfect. Without any further ado, you speak of autism. And you speak so fondly of it, and you smile, you brighten up when you talk about it. Tell us, for someone who does not understand or know what autism is, just tell us a little bit about that.
For me personally, autism means it's a very interesting disorder. I have yet
Amazing.
to find any autistic people that are exactly the same, and they might all have a diagnosis of autism, but they're all unique. Like a fingerprint of someone, they are that unique. They are all completely different. Autism is a disorder, it's not a disease.
It's not a disease. Yes, I love that. I love that.
So none of our children and adults living with autism can be cured. So it is a lifelong disorder, and they live long lives.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Speaking of which, with something that you've really assisted us with here in studio, I really want to know the difference between, because most people, they think ADHD is the same as autism. I want to know the difference between the two. What's the difference between ADHD and autism?
ADHD is a complete separate diagnosis. A child with ADHD would have attention problems and hyperactivity problems.
All right.
Where in autism, we have a component that some of our children have activity level problems, but they are not ADHD children.
So I've heard that there's a low functioning just now, and it's something I was starting to learn about. There's a low functioning and then there's a high functioning, right? Which brings me to my next question for you. For someone who does not know about, all right, we've dealt with that one. Tell us a little bit more about some of the differences with regards to children or people with autism. How do they differ from, let's say, Vuyo's autistic, Kanya's autistic? How does it differ? How does autism differ?
If I can correct something,
okay,
we do not speak about low functioning and high functioning autism anymore.
All right,
an old.
Oh, okay.
We now talk about the support levels that the people need. So we talk about low support needs, which used to be called high functioning.
Oh, okay.
And then high support needs, which used to be called low functioning. But we now rather refer to the support levels that the person needs with autism. Autism is diagnosed in 4 different areas. So we have to have a communication, language, speech development or delay problem, an issue with that. We have to have social issues. So a person with autism would have to have some component of social interaction difficulties. We have to have behaviors, and we call them the rigid, repetitive behaviors that we see in them, where they would have stims, which would be rocking, flapping, scratching, biting themselves, head banging, tapping of the ears, all of that stuff. But they would have different stims, and also the fact that they are very rigid in their behaviors and their routines. So we have things like they play differently with toys, from other children. They might line things up instead of building with building blocks, they might just line them up. And the fourth component there would be their sensory issues. So they would either be oversensitive, which means they would have blocking or running away if there's loud sounds, for instance,
Yes.
or they might be sensory seeking, under sensory, which means they would be sensory seeking, and there you would have people banging on things, and that they would seek any kind of sensory input. So a person or a child with autism would have difficulties in all four of those areas, but at different degrees, if I can put it that way. So therefore, no person with autism is the same, because their needs in all four of those areas are different.
You ate it all. You literally ate it all, which is, the reason I asked you this question. It's simply because you deal with a number of children. You don't just deal with Daniel. You never dealt with Daniel. You dealt with Daniel, and then there was a large number of kids. That's why I wanted to know the difference between different types of autism, how a child will be. I'm sure this is going to be very beneficial to a person who does not know, because we said earlier on, seek, find, and just not knowledge, but just teach yourself to ask questions about autism if you are not aware. I'm hearing very interesting information that I didn't know, that it's no longer low functioning, but it's another term now, which brings me to my next question for you. I want to know the idea. First things first, it's called what is it called? Autism Siethembe.
Yes.
Why Autism Siethembe, and what does it mean?
When Daniel was diagnosed in 2004, 2005, October of that year, we found only a couple of other parents in this area that we could form a little support group with. And at that time, we then decided that we needed not only the support group, but we also needed a school for children with autism here, because there was nothing like that around here. So as a little committee that we formed at that time from the support group, we said, come forward with ideas. And one of the mommies came up with the idea of Siethembe, because Siethembe means we have hope. And with a hope in the heart and faith, everything is possible. Not just anything, but everything is possible. So we decided it must be called Siethembe, and obviously to specify it's autism, because we're only dealing with autistic children. So Autism Siethembe.
Hence Autism Siethembe. That's amazing. But just before we end the interview, we'll give you the platform to share where people can find you, if should they want to be part of the support group, should they want to bring their kids, or should they want to learn more about all of this Autism Siethembe. Another one. What has been a challenge with dealing with a number of kids who are autistic than raising one? Now you're dealing with a number. Now you're a chicken, eh? You know a chicken.
With lots of chickens under the wings.
All right.
Yeah, I know.
in Xhosa, you must just Google that, or just research. It's called isikhukhukazi. It's the protector. How is it different with just protecting one chick than protecting a large number of chicks?
In the history of Autism Siethembe, when we started the school, we started with one class with only 6 little kids and 3 staff members. That was all. We have now grown to 6 classrooms, 48 children, 13 staff members. So it has grown. The idea of looking after so many children is daunting. It is.
Yeah.
But without the love and care of the staff members that I've got there, and the training that we provided to those staff members, and the love for the children that we are dealing with, you cannot do anything. You have to have the commitment 100% of the staff members working there. And it becomes a shared experience in the end, because every teacher and assistant in one class look after the 8 little ones that they've got there. And therefore we make it work. We have to make it work.
That's what I was going to say.
We are doing God's work here, not our own agendas.
She's said it all. Don't do your own agendas. Just do the Lord's work, and you will see how much more things that you look at are doubled, or things that are coming your way. They will be 3-pulled, 4-pulled, even more. That's what I'm taking away from what Antoinette is saying. Looking at time, it's just gone 50 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock. That means we're only left with 10 minutes till we take it to the top of the hour. That is the third and final hour of the KNR Drive 3 to 6. Not alone in studio. I'm with my producer. I'm with the amazing, the lovely Antoinette, talking about all things autism. Which brings me to my next question. Speaking of of staff, of your staff members, I wanted to know, do you? But I think I grasped something, but I need to ask this question: do you hire people with who are professionals, or do you? But you've already said it. But do you take in professionals, people who are trained to be to deal with autistic children, or do you train them yourself? And how does the training go about?
Autism South Africa, which is the organization which I am the RDO for the Eastern Cape. I work for Autism South Africa. It's my full-time job. It's my paying job.
It's where you get your bread.
No, I love what I do, I must say.
You can tell.
But Autism South Africa provides amazing training and workshops. And being the Eastern Cape component of Autism South Africa, I do the training in the Eastern Cape. So all of the training for Autism South Africa, I am the person who does that here. My own staff has been trained by myself. But I don't go and look for professionals if I can help it, because what we do is the assistants, for instance, in the school that have been there for a very long time, we take them and we upskill them to become the teachers. If one leave maybe, or we open another classroom, I take from my own crop. And we upskill and we place them in that position. Then we also require them to go through training that we have to have for our children, and we work internally. I hardly ever, or very seldom, like I want to say in-source, not outsource.
Yeah. No, I
Yes,
get you.
staff members, yes.
All right. Amazing indeed. With dealing with such a large number of kids, if I can put it that way, I just want to know what are you, just one or two most memorable things that the kids have done or you have done that's just amazing and out of this world for you. It could be anything, whatever initiatives you are pushing or whatever, but I just want to know, what can't you forget about dealing with this type of or with these kids? Are we moving?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
So the most memorable things for me is when a child for the first time respond to something that you have taught them for months now. And you seem to think in the beginning, oh, they're never going to get it. They just don't want to do it. And then all of a sudden, one day, they do
They get
something
it.
amazing. And everybody stops and thinks, oh, this child
Did what
actually understood what we wanted her or him to do for so long. But today, for the first time, they took that first step, that first opportunity to interact with us with this thing. The communication side as well. Most of our children do not communicate when they come to the school. That first time when they communicate, or they come back from home and they come in and they say something amazing. And then obviously with our children, potty training or toilet training is a major issue. And we have a problem with them just getting them to use the toilets. And then when parents report, look, my child used the toilet for the first time, or we have a success at school, absolutely amazing.
Amazing indeed. I just wanted to check, because with the 3 to 6 team, so we're normally the last ones in studio. So I wanted to check, if do we have anyone who's at the door? Don't just lock ourselves in. But speaking of that, a lot of people, Antoinette, just before I let you go, a lot of people are so ignorant. A lot of people are so ignorant. For instance, I'd give birth and I'm so ignorant, and I'm in denial. I don't wanna understand how, for you, how did you get to terms and accepted fully that Daniel is autistic before my last question?
It took me a while, because as a mom, you carry that baby for 9 months.
And you
and then
want
you
what's
give
best.
birth. And in that time period, you form
On.
an image of what you want the child to be one day. You want them to grow up. They must go to a good school, they must matriculate, they must go to university,
They
they
must
must
have a job,
become the
normal things.
best in their field. You have this image of this child. Then the child is diagnosed, and then all of a sudden you sit with a different child. It's the same child, but your future plans for the child must change now, because you cannot have the same outcome again. You must chop the tree down, plant a different seed, and now that seed
The
comes up
regrows.
another child. So it takes a while. And I'm just putting it out there that unless your child has something wrong with him, why would you go and look for information on autism if it doesn't touch yourself? So we go and look for information as and when we need it. But it's a good thing to have the information out there that is better information than what I had when my son was diagnosed. Because 21 years ago, we hardly had anything out there that we could say, you click on this button and you Google something.
It gives you
I
what
didn't
this.
even have a computer. I didn't have Google. We didn't have, I could hardly send an email at that time. So it was old fashioned telecom telephone, and then you must find the information that you need. So it takes a long time, unfortunately, to get the information that you need for the situation that you're dealing with at that time. So I think for parents who are not personally touched, or a family member with a sibling,
Yeah, with a sibling, or yes.
Why would you in heaven's name go and look for information if it doesn't touch yourself? Number one. Number two is, don't be ignorant. Go and upskill yourself, because it might happen that a person with an 11-month baby or a person with an older sibling suddenly find out that there is something wrong with this child. It is almost your job then to go and look for that information, to be able to assist and support and help family, the child, wherever you need to go.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. People just need to just stop being ignorant. If it has nothing to do with you, let it be. If it has nothing to do with you, like Antoinette said, if it doesn't touch you, why would you be interested? Don't be interested in knowing why they are like that. Just walk away. If don't share negativity, don't share anything. My question was exactly going to, what would you say to a parent who is in denial? What advice would you give to a parent or a sibling who is in denial, who does not give their sibling or their child the full support they need or the full love they need?
Read, read,
And
and read
read.
some more. Yes, the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to deal with a situation. But then also look for support out there, because you can't do
Do
this
it
alone.
alone.
You have to have your community with you. You have to have your family members with you. There are so many of our parents who divorce because of a child. They might have a difficult marriage anyway, but then you throw in the mix this child with specialized needs, and then you find that the problem becomes a huge problem and they can't deal with it. The other thing is, if you have support, then fine, that's good. But otherwise, phone me.
Call me, please. Just also give us the number. Give us the number. That is very much allowed, because I'm sure with a person like you and a person like me giving birth to a child who's autistic, I could take a lot. I could take away a lot from you. I could take a lot. So you can kindly give us a number or any other platform that we can find you.
On Facebook, we are on Autism Siethembe. You can get me there. On Autism South Africa side, we have a website, Ought to Know. The number 2 is in the middle, Ought to Know. Or their Facebook page as well, Autism South Africa. Myself, I'm Antoinette. I'm always available. As you can see, my cell phone is right here next to me. It sleeps next to me as well. My number is 072 678 2452. But you can find me, I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, on my cell phone, WhatsApp.
What are your handles?
Everywhere.
What are your handles on Instagram, Facebook?
On Facebook, it's Antoinette Alexander.
Okay.
That's it,
And
yes.
Instagram?
Same.
No personal messages. We are only dealing with autism. We don't send hi Antoinette. Hi Antoinette,
Yeah.
get straight to the point.
Yes.
We
Or use my WhatsApp number.
Exactly. Can you please repeat it? Kindly repeat it for us.
It's 072 678 2452. 52.
Definitely. Let me repeat that dial. It's 0726782452. And also you can contact us in studio 0661372723. We'll extend the message to Antoinette. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. Thank you for honoring the invite. And thank you. Looking forward to doing more with you because I saw I need us to talk about a little something, but we're going to talk off air, not here. Thank you so much for honoring the invite.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Radio, you are streaming us live from www.keithngesi.radio.com. And also, we were in conversations with Antoinette talking about all things autism. She's representing autism. So she's not here to represent Autism South Africa, but it's something that is there. You need to look into it. Teach yourself about these things. Love kids who are different, kids with special needs, kids with high ADHD, because the only thing we can do to these kids is just to express love, extend love. Now we can put up on time to Keith Ngesi Radio. Let's meet on the other side. That is www